Hello, I am Norm, a middle-aged dad.
And I am Ari, the K-pop enjoyer.
And this is K-pop for old people.
Yes.
The podcast where Ari teaches me about K-pop.
Yes.
So who are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to be talking about BTS.
BTS.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, what's new with you?
Actually, today, the ITZY released a new song, or a new album, so I listened to that.
And any initial thoughts?
It's pretty good. I like it.
Cool. In other news, we just had a karaoke party.
Yeah.
For those who are not familiar with our karaoke parties, our family hosts a karaoke night in our backyard about once a month during the summer months when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
And in this particular one, you and I sang a song together.
Yes.
We sang
The Feels by Twice.
We did. How do you think that turned out?
I think you did very well, because I myself know all the lyrics, so...
I knew that you would do well.
Yeah.
Of course. It was certainly more on me, but I practiced really hard.
Yeah.
I like almost every time that I was driving somewhere in the car, I would listen and sing along and try to get all... Obviously, with karaoke, you got the lyrics there. That helped a lot.
Yeah.
But just getting the melody down and everything. And I feel like we did well together.
Yeah, you really had a lot of energy.
I do like to bring a lot of energy to karaoke.
Yeah.
So I hope that was fun for you.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely fun.
We'll have to figure out another one to do.
I mean, there are more Twice English songs and other English songs that I could teach you.
Yeah. We'll have to keep an eye out for another one for next party.
Yeah.
Or we could just keep doing that one. Either way is fine with me. We can do multiple songs together. I like singing songs with everybody in the family.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Also, I listened to a couple of songs by TXT because we talked about them last time.
Speaking of TXT and also the karaoke, during the karaoke, my outfit was based after a TXT song, which was an English song, but I didn't end up singing it.
Oh.
It was Devil by the Window by TXT.
Okay. That is not one that I listened to, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I don't know that one. But you're always a sharp dresser.
Yes.
At our karaoke parties and just in general.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. I could also see when we were singing our song together, you were doing a few of the moves.
Yes.
I definitely was not up to doing any of the moves, but I know that we said before that at some point you're going to have to teach me some K-pop dance.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see about that one. But the TXT songs that I listened to, so let's see. I listened to the first one that you mentioned, which was Sugar Rush Ride.
Yeah.
My reaction to that was, it was different than I was expecting.
Yeah, probably. What were you expecting?
Well, I mean, given that my exposure to K-pop at this point is just mostly those couple of songs by Twice.
Yeah, and they're very bubbly and colorful.
Yeah, it was a little bit less... Like with a title like Sugar Rush Ride, it sounds like it ought to be very, very sugary and rushing and a ride. I don't know if that was, I guess both musically and lyrically, I don't know. When I think Sugar Rush Ride, I think of actually, what's that? I can't think of the name now. The video game movie, Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So when I think of Sugar Rush Ride, it makes me honestly think of Wreck-It Ralph because there was that game in there called Sugar Rush.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Maybe. Something about sugar.
Yeah.
Because it was a racing
game
themed about candy.
Candy themed, right.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I just had some sort of like very colorful, bright thing in mind. And like I watched the video and it was...
Very much not like that?
Very much not like that.
Yeah.
the Sugar Rush ride of the lyrics was a metaphor for something I was not expecting it to be a metaphor for. And I'll leave it to people to go and watch the video themselves. I will say that at certain points in the video, the members of TXT seem to be handling a certain viscous goo.
I believe it looked like honey. I don't know what it was.
It was maybe intended to be honey. It was something sweet, but that one I found a little off-putting. I also listened to the Jonas Brothers one.
Yes.
I can't think of the title off the top of my head.
Do It Like That, I believe.
Do It Like That, yes. I enjoyed that one a little bit more.
Yeah.
Probably because of the English. I acknowledge my cultural limitations there, but and I will say, like, as far as the Jonas Brothers go, I was familiar. I'm like aware of them. I couldn't tell you a Jonas Brothers song. I was never a fan of them.
Yeah, me too, probably.
They seem to come at a specific point in time when I wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't have been a fan of boy bands like that anyway. But it came even a little bit later, because like when I think of, I've never been a huge fan of like those pop vocal groups, but the ones that I maybe appreciate more now in my adulthood that were from my youth are from still an earlier period of time. Because like the heyday of that in my mind was like the late 90s, early 2000s, which would have been like your NSYNCs and Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls and those kind of groups, which I was definitely much more familiar. Like I could tell you songs by those groups. I was much more plugged in to pop music at that point. But I think the Jonas Brothers is still like a generation later than that. So anyway, that all to say, like, the song starts with the Jonas Brothers, and it sounds like just a Jonas Brothers song.
Yeah.
And then the TXT guys come in on like the second verse or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that is a song that I could see myself singing at karaoke potentially. Like I could get into that. Not saying that would be my choice necessarily, because I don't know what I'm choosing from yet. But it was all right. And I listened to another one too, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Magic, maybe?
Well, you'd probably have to describe it.
Yeah, from the video, my recollection was... It's been like a while now, so I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it was Magic, because I remember I picked it out. I think it was one that you mentioned.
Yeah, I did mention that.
And I also picked it out because it seemed like it might tie into the lore aspect of things that we were talking about.
Yeah, in a way. I don't remember how.
And my recollection, now that I think about it, is that there were robots involved.
I believe so.
In the video. Yeah. So it definitely had like a otherworldly, like maybe a little bit of a sci-fi feel to it.
Yeah, that was part of it.
The video did, at least. And so I can see how that would tie into like the multiversal stuff that we...
I mean, yeah, from what I saw in the music video, they apparently got captured and put in prison, but they broke out.
Okay.
At least that's what I remember from the lore.
Yeah. It is continuing to be an interesting adventure as I explore this stuff that's totally unfamiliar to me.
Yeah. Because I feel like your reaction to the Sugar Rush Ride music video was probably way more higher than mine was, because I'm an experienced listener of theirs, and so I'm used to watching stuff like that, I guess.
Okay.
Because, like, some of their songs are kind of questionable.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, that's enough about TXT, and twice we've talked about them already. This week we're talking about BTS.
Yes.
So here's my familiarity with BTS, because as we've said in past episodes, if anybody knows a K-pop group that of recent vintage, it's going to be BTS, right?
Yeah.
At least in America.
Like BTS or Blackpink are like the top two most popular.
And see, like, between those two, I've only heard of BTS.
Yeah.
And I have heard of BTS. Again, couldn't tell you a single one of their songs. Don't know really anything about them other than they are the, probably the most popular in America in recent times.
Yeah.
And I know that we mentioned last time that they're from the same company as TXT and that there was sort of a connection there.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, I'm a blank slate, so I'm ready to learn about BTS.
I myself don't really know much about BTS because, like, I've listened to a few songs before because, like, everyone has really, at least somewhere, but they usually don't notice it. But, like, coming from a person who's listened to K-pop, I probably would have noticed it.
Sure.
Because, like, I personally am not a big fan of BTS. I personally think that they're kind of overrated because their songs are pretty basic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious to hear, because I know that you've said before that, like, you weren't a big fan the way that you are of the two previous groups that we talked about.
I just thought I would do this because, like, it's popular.
I think it's a completely... I think, it makes sense to explore both the ones that are your favorites and some other ones to...
Yeah. Some other ones that are just unique, and I thought I would talk about them.
Yeah, and also, like, we want to make sure that I'm getting a well-informed, broad view of the whole genre and not just, one specific angle.
Yeah. But, BTS. So, a funny thing from what I've learned is BTS, in a loose English translation, actually translates to Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
Okay.
I don't understand what that's supposed to mean.
Okay, so the letters BTS stand for something in Korean, I assume.
I've heard Bangtan Boys. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the S is for, because I can understand the B and the T.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's an S. Something that I can't think of right now. I don't know, maybe it's... I just thought of... It's not funny, but I thought of Bangtan Sunbaenim, which is like what K-pop groups would call groups that are like older than them, like if they were rookie groups, aka they've been a group for less than 30 years.
Okay, so that's like the K-pop word for like a veteran group.
I guess. Yeah.
Is that something...
I don't believe that's true. That's just what I thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's not what it stands for.
Yeah.
But when someone uses that word, is it a pejorative? Like, does that mean like, oh, they're old and they're like out of style? Or
no, it's just like a form of respect. How like in Korean, if you were just like a close friend of mine, I would call you oppa because that's technically Korean for older brother. But since we were close friends, I could call you that.
Got it. Okay.
But also you're my dad, so I would call you appa, which is father in Korean.
Okay. I'm learning all kinds of new vocabulary today.
I know.
All right, so tell me more about BTS.
So the members of BTS, which there are 7, from oldest to youngest, there is Jin. Sorry, I don't know whether it's pronounced Suga or Sugar or Suga.
Okay.
One of them. I'm pretty sure his Korean name is Yoongi. J-Hope, RM, Jimin, V, and the youngest, Jungkook.
Okay.
They debuted on June 12th, 2010. So they debuted before I was born.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've been around for a while.
Yeah. They debuted with the song No More Dream, and I believe the most recent song is Take Two.
Do you know, like, because they are popular or more popular than most in America, do they have hits here?
Definitely, yeah. Like, for example, there are 2 English songs that I can think of. I like Dynamite and Butter. Pretty popular there.
Okay.
Here in America.
I'll probably give those a listen just because I want to be well informed.
But recently, actually, I believe it was Jungkook of BTS released a solo song called 7.
Oh, okay. So they're kind of at the point in their career where...
everybody's releasing their own solo songs.
Yeah, they've kind of... Which I think is a pretty common thing for vocal groups like that. They, not that they necessarily break up, but that after a while they start going their own way.
Yeah. I believe it was Jimin of BTS released a song called Set Me Free Part 2, which confused me because I know a song by Twice called Set Me Free. And so I'm like, why is it Part 2? Because,
there wasn't a Part 1?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Maybe they called it Part 2 because there was already a Set Me Free. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know either. So we already mentioned last time in the TXT episode that they are with the same company, which was Big Hit Entertainment? Is that right?
Under Hype Labels. Big Hit Entertainment.
Okay. See, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm. You're learning. And their fan group is called ARMY.
Okay.
I don't know what that has to do with Bulletproof Boy Scouts, but it does, apparently.
Well, I mean...
Maybe.
Not to get too political here, but the Boy Scouts, the actual Boy Scouts were created as, a way to try to, prepare young boys to become military men later in life. So I kind of get it. Also, when I think of ARMY in the context of a fan group in music, I immediately think of the KISS Army, which is the fan group of the rock group KISS, which I just actually heard on the radio this morning. 2 members of KISS are going to be not too far from here in the near future because they're opening a restaurant at a casino not that far from here, which I intend to never, ever go to.
Why?
Well, I mean, those kind of celebrity-owned restaurants are always terrible and overpriced. And also, I'm not a huge KISS fan. I have some appreciation for KISS, but KISS is one of those groups where, there are some people who just, really love them in a way that doesn't seem justified by their musical output.
That's kind of how I feel about BTS.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So maybe that's appropriate that they share a fan group name.
Yeah.
So does BTS have a particular concept?
Apparently their concept is to block out stereotypes, criticisms, and expectations that aim on adolescents like bullets. Maybe that's why they're the Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
Did you say life bullets?
Like bullets.
Oh, okay. Like bullets. Okay.
Yes.
It is a simile.
Yeah. Now that makes more sense why they're Bulletproof Boy Scouts. Because it's the expectations are shooting at them like bullets, and they're immune to them, so they're bulletproof.
All right, yeah. That is a concept.
Yeah. It's not very different from TXT's.
I suppose so. That makes sense since we know that they were influenced by BTS.
Yeah, probably. One thing I do know about the, Hybe family or whatever, the different groups under Hybe labels, I feel like ENHYPEN would be a better, younger brother group for BTS because they both have 7 members. So, it would be easier for ENHYPEN to cover BTS's songs because they have the right amount of members. Because, with TXT, they have 5, so they're missing a few people. But then I've also heard of TXT and ENHYPEN joining together to cover different songs from Hybe labels artists like BTS.
So your own relationship with BTS, I assume, like you said, that you've listened to some of their stuff, but it didn't really connect with you.
Yeah.
And do you think that is in part because they're an older group and they have a style that's not as current?
Not really. I just feel like they're not my kind. They're not my style.
Fair enough. It's another you like what you like situation.
Because the thing with me is I like TXT a lot. So instead of getting TXT stuff, I get BTS because they're like, oh, you like TXT? How about BTS? And I'm like,
right.
no, thanks.
Okay.
Because I feel like anytime somebody says, I like K-pop or something like that, people are like, so you like BTS?
Oh, yeah, I can see how that would be. Does that bother you? Because being someone who goes deep on K-pop, because like I know when I was younger and people would talk about music, there would always be that kind of person who was like, oh, you just know the popular stuff and I'm into the deep cuts, you know. And so do you feel like it's a little bit of that, or is it genuinely just like it's just a different style that you're not into?
I don't know. Because it's like kind of irritating how like whenever somebody brings up K-pop, they're like, so you know BTS? Like you say some member of a K-pop group and they're like, oh, is that person from BTS?
Oh, sure.
And stuff like that. Everybody thinks that everyone is from BTS, even if it's a girl group. It's like, oh yeah, I like, I don't know, Jisoo from Blackpink. Oh, is that a BTS member? No.
And I've definitely, well, there's also one other name that has not been mentioned yet when we have had these conversations. And I haven't brought it up because I know that when I've seen it brought up before, how you've reacted, but we haven't mentioned the name Psy either.
Psy is actually from P Nation, so he's not even related to any of the hype labels.
No, but just like, as far as American familiarity with K-pop goes, like, that is one of those things where, like, that one song...
I remember during school one time, one of the teachers, because we had free tours, tried to play Gangnam Style by Psy, which is definitely not very kid-friendly, especially in a school. Because, you know, in the chorus, they say, hey, sexy lady, and also there's one where Psy is just staring at this girl's ass while they're doing yoga. Yeah. And other different things in that music video that aren't the best for school.
Sure, but, I mean, no doubt that was a huge hit in America.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, it wasn't like people then became big Psy fans and like he had much more cultural impact beyond that one song and frankly the dance that went along with that song.
Yeah, it definitely became more of a meme song. Because I remember one time, one of my friends said that they like to listen to Gangnam Style, and then I told them, you know that's K-pop, right? And then they said, I'll never listen to it again. I'm like, why?
Well, that's what I mean about, like, you know, people have certain attitudes about musical genres that aren't necessarily based in the music themselves. It's more about the culture surrounding them.
Kinda, yeah.
In the same way that somebody might be, like, there's that stereotype of the hipster who's like, if it's popular, then they don't like it just because it is popular.
Mm.
And then there's the opposite where, you know, people only like the stuff that's popular and they don't have any interest in going any deeper than that. So
I feel like I'm not really like a big Psy fan, but I do like a few of his songs. Because like his songs are kind of weird, but in a funny way.
Yeah, and it's kind of a novelty song in that way. Not to, I mean, when I use the word novelty song, it sounds like I'm being reductive, which I don't intend to be, but that is a common phenomenon for hit songs throughout history. Like going back to, in my day, it was stuff like I'm Too Sexy or like Who Let the Dogs Out, or things that like they became bigger than the artists that were making them. You know? People recognize those songs instantly, but they might not be able to even tell you who performed them because it wasn't really about that. It was about, or definitely not any other songs by that person. I could rattle off a million of them, but that's not what we're here for. So
I always find it so weird whenever I'm like in class and like somebody will start singing something that's related to K-pop and I'll be like, they don't know. I do though. Because like, for example, one time when I was in class, one of my classmates just started singing, who I know doesn't like K-pop. They've like never heard anything by a K-pop just before, started singing Money by Lisa from Blackpink, and I was like, you do know that's K-pop, but I didn't actually say that. And it's like so weird just hearing people like singing songs that they don't know are K-pop, and then if I tell them it's K-pop, they'll probably be like, no, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, especially when it's like a full English K-pop song like Money by Lisa, which was popular on TikTok, so that's probably where they found it. But like me, I'm the one who found it because of Blackpink's marketing and whatever.
Sure. Like, that kind of experience for me was, so like one of my favorite bands of all time is Queen.
Yeah.
And so I have been listening to Queen since I was probably younger than you are now. And I bought like all their albums and know all the album tracks and all that stuff. But when I was in high school, the movie Wayne's World came out, in which they play Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Which was a hit for them, so like people knew it, but people my age didn't really know it that much until that movie came out, and then it was everywhere again. And I definitely had feelings of like, you guys don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, undoubtedly a great song.
Yeah.
But so many other good songs by Queen. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, anything else I need to know about BTS? Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned like a couple of their hits.
Yeah.
And I do try to listen to stuff that we talk about. So do you have any recommendations, or do you think that that those couple of hit songs are probably the best representation for me?
I feel like when I recommend you K-pop songs, I should probably do like one English song if they have it, and then like just another song that's popular or something. So I feel like probably you should maybe listen to probably Butter, which is definitely one of their most popular songs. I don't really know many BTS songs, so I'm trying to think of one that isn't English.
Well, that's the thing about YouTube and all the algorithms and such, is if I look for one, I'll find many others.
Yeah, probably.
I can also go on Spotify because they always rank stuff by what's the most popular, and I can see what's been streamed the most.
Another popular one in America is Permission to Dance, which is Korean, partly.
Okay. Maybe I'll give that a shot.
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm pretty sure I do know all the lyrics to Dynamite and Butter, even though I don't really listen to them. I just know the lyrics, which is weird.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if it's a catchy song, that's kind of the point of a
I feel
pop
like
hook, is to get into your head that way.
BTS's songs are kind of overplayed. Because I feel like some person who's an ARMY or a BTS fan or whatever is gonna hear me say this or something and be like, how dare you? Because like ARMYs are known for being, whenever someone hates on a BTS member or just BTS in general, they'll like be like super angry and like I don't know. What's the word?
Defensive?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Well, don't come for us, BTS ARMY. We're just, everybody likes what they like.
Yeah. It's just my opinion.
All right. So, sounds like that is about all we know about BTS.
Yeah, probably.
And we will leave it at that. Who are we going to talk about next week?
Next week we're going to talk about Blackpink. Another
right,
very
so
popular K-pop group.
They came up a couple of times already, I know.
Yeah.
So I look forward to learning about Blackpink. Until then, I am Norm.
I'm Ari.
And thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Annyeong.